one of my all-time favorites was Luther Vandross. And I can't believe that Luther Vandross asked me to auto-tune his vocal. Auto-tune was relatively new back then. And he said, can we auto-tune that phrase? I'm like, excuse me? You're Luther Vandross. We don't auto-tune your vocal. And he laughed. And I did auto-tune it. And for the life of me, I can't hear what the heck he was talking about. He was one of my favorites. The artist that intrigues me the most in terms of somebody I would want to work with is Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars because in his music, I hear a reflection of a process that I recognize. I recognize a process of looking at music and bringing music from past eras up into a modern era. I recognize that in what he's doing. And I could imagine that his process will be very similar to my process. I love listening to Drake. I'm sure that Drake is a phenomenal artist. I would love to work with Drake, but I think that process would be very different. So if I had my druthers between Drake and Bruno, I'd probably go with Bruno because it would be something that I'm sure I'm familiar with. The thing that I can't stand most about being a recording and mixing engineer is having an assistant engineer with me who is not attentive to what's going on in the session. That's like, and the funny thing is, some engineers are really good at calling the assistant out and like, yeah, and barking at them. I'm a little bit more passive aggressive. I'll start like going, I should say something. Maybe I shouldn't. I should say something, but then he'll hate me. And I start going through all of that kind of stuff. So one of the ways to do it, you've just got to confront it and say, could you stay in the room? And now the guy's like got a problem with you. And that's one of my pet peeves. It's just, if you're going to be in the room with an engineer, just be attentive. Be attentive not to just the engineer, but to the session and to the workflow. When I was an assistant engineer, I would anticipate the moves of the engineer. The engineer would ask for reverb, or he wouldn't even ask for reverb. He'd look at me and he'd say, and I'm like, you need reverb, right? And I'm actually standing there with the patch points, like popping them in. And he'd be, you need delay, right? So it wasn't that I was prescient, it was that I was paying attention. I was actually listening to the work, listening to how he was developing the composition, and kind of, like thinking ahead. It's kind of like playing baseball. It's like we got to think, what's this next pitch going to be? And I think that skill is really what you need in the room with you. And when I don't have it in the room with me, it freaks me out. The thing that keeps me up at night in terms of the process will be mixing work that I have on the console. I've taken it in the car to listen to it. I hear something that needs an adjustment, and we're all burnt out. We need to go home. We need to get some rest. I go home, and I'm still lit for about 2 hours. And when I finally lay down, that whole time I've been thinking about, I can't wait to get back so I can adjust that fader. And that keeps me up for a while.